Going live, and welcome to an introduction to the simplest meditation that anyone in this world can do, regardless of distance, geolocation, capabilities. If you've never had a spiritual practice before, if you've never had a meditation practice, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Good news is the technique that I'm going to teach you tonight in a short stint of time is going to give you something that will work for you consistently for the rest of your life. And it has taken a refined approach to this, where I've taken the best techniques over the course of really 20 years of practice through behavioral technology to the practice of spirituality and understanding what the breath really does for the body and the nervous system. And I'm going to be giving this to you today without any strings attached, because it's about service. It's about receiving something that's going to change your life. And everyone wants a simple shortcut. You're going to get a simple shortcut tonight. So let's start with a little bit of music first. I'm going to put something on here that's going to start playing in a second. Let me... Hopefully we're going to get this going. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to change the track. We're going to play a specific song here that I have in mind. So just bear with me. This will not take long at all. I got excited tonight and just thought to myself, okay, I'm going to start this up. And I want everyone to just enjoy this for a few minutes, get a feel for what it's all about. And we're going to be playing this song, Crater Lake. So let me copy this and just throw it into a directory. What I'm doing right now while you hear me talking is I'm dropping a song into a specific directory that has royalty-free music so we can use it for our own benefit in practicing this technique. So let me see here if it went through. It's called, okay, it looks like it didn't go through. Just bear with me for a second here. Okay, almost ready. Almost ready. And I'm just going to say good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the new moon, the full moon rather, not new moon, full moon. I wonder if you've come up with some specific goals for what you're planning on letting go of, what you're planning on perhaps bringing into your life after, through the space that you're creating, but more so focusing on this space that you're trying to make available to you. Okay, so let's get this music going. And as this music is going, I just want you to imagine in this image that you see, it gives you everything that you need. You see the starlight in the sky, the individual staring up at it. And I like to give that Disney representation. I know it may sound cheesy. I know you may be having difficulty trying to attach the mind with the idea that when you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come true. This is what we've been hearing in Disney movies all along. Well, this is the same meditation and mantra that Walt Disney used when he was down to his last penny, when he was being told by everyone that an animated full-length picture would never make it anywhere. It would never be accepted. It would never be understood. It would never be embraced. And he was told this over and over again. And you know what he did? He looked up and he thought, as long as my mind is on the goal that I see and it does not sway no matter what anyone says, I will achieve this. And he was absolutely faithful to that idea until it was realized. The simplest meditation requires accessing your imagination, but we don't do this nowadays, do we? Because we have everything being delivered to us through means of convenience, through our technology. And it says, don't worry about the creative aspect anymore. You don't have to do that. We've got that handled for you. Why don't you check out this beautiful app, or perhaps purchase this food, or perhaps use this as your escape. And so what I think about all this is, you don't need it. Your mind and imagination are more potent and capable than anything that could be delivered to you in the digital domain from an outside source. Your own digital domain, this own little black box that you live in, is where all the good theater happens. And I want you to create some good theater. You're looking at the Simplest Meditation photo here. This is the individual dreamer's theater. So I want you to look up and imagine yourself looking up into the stars and imagining one of those stars coming down, shooting towards you, entering in through the crown. What is that crown? It's what sits on top of your head. How interesting that it looks like a star, right? And it enters in through the crown, and you feel this shimmering light, this true form of essence of what you came from, the stardust coming down through the crown as it passes through your third eye, that area between the brow, igniting it, and then down it goes through your throat, making sure that your communication is sound, and it rests a little lower, right on your sternum, in your heart center. And while it rests there in the heart center, all I want you to do is to imagine this beautiful white starlight resonating in a circular ball, this energy of who you are and what you represent in terms of your reflection with the beginning of the universe. This connection is what you need. So if you can imagine that starlight, just like you're playing a Mario game, you jump up and get that star, and it gives you that invincibility, that newfound confidence that you can run through the stage no matter how difficult it is, and whatever enemy gets in your way, they're simply gonna fall. Don't you understand that Nintendo and Miyamoto was a huge fan, or is a huge fan of Disney, and understands the power of these mantras? And we'll be going into Shigeru Miyamoto more and all of the occult symbols that are in Nintendo games, especially the earlier ones. But I want you to focus on the star here. This is what everyone goes for when they play Super Mario World and all the 3D-based Super Mario games that spawned from it. And also going back to the original Super Mario Brothers, this idea of the star giving you invincibility, the absolute confidence to get through any challenge. So imagine it. And then the light fades and you let it go and you go on with your day. Now, if you find that you're capable of doing that meditation works for you, the next step is to imagine going through 108 steps of this. And you're going to get really fast at doing it. All you have to do is practice for a few days, walking through, if you can walk, or if not, just imagining people in your mind that you want to send this light to. It's the only time in your life that you can send something without it being interference. I promise you. The light from the projector is never to blame. The images that get shined upon, now that's a whole other thing. That's why I don't get involved in it. That's why this meditation technique has gone through so much refinement. I used to think, what is it that I need to give the individual? And I was thinking, okay, I need to have an individual marketing campaign for each person in order for them to believe that this meditation system is going to work. And I was looking at it the entirely wrong way. The only way that this can be looked at and be effective for someone is to remove all assumptions of what I think the individual needs and just get it away. Because the more that I interfere in that, the less it's received and the less potent it is, the less effective it is. And so that just has to be stripped from the mind entirely. What I did was I just had walked and meditated every single day for months in a row. And in my meditative process, in the practice, I became extremely frustrated here in Mexico. In Mexico City, where there are 24 million people in the city. That's the average that I've been told by everyone. Maybe more, maybe less, but we're looking at the combined populations of New York and LA, trying to make it in the city together. And so people push and shove, and they're bullies. But all of this that I'm saying is judgment, and it all creates karma. I could look at it and say they're suffering. Also, another assumption, karma creating. What's more important than that is that I recognize we all come from the same source. The Big Bang, starlight, the origin of Genesis, let there be light, whatever you want to connect with, whatever your belief system is, or not believing any of it other than there's a projector that gives me my experience, because you got to believe that. If you don't, you're lost. You're stuck in your ego. You got to understand, even atheists have to understand that there's a projector shining light upon everything that we observe and see, sending frequency through our body, our crude body, to experience the senses. You have to start there. You have to start there. Whether or not you think it's a meditation, whether you think it's a simulation, whether you think it's divine intervention, whether you think it's just nonsensical, the idea of reality and whatever you see, you have to understand that the wheel's turning, okay? That there's movement, and that comes from light. So once you connect with that and you offer that, it's good to understand that we're offering the most universal operating system in the world for everyone to tap into, and it just fixes the programs. All of that imagery that we used to see from the projector, it just kind of removes the frames that don't do any good for the world and fixes the things that were otherwise riddled with fear and judgment and despising thoughts and commentary and bullying and all the things that bring us to a place of really not feeling so good but just barely surviving. Those things go away. It's as automatic as taking food and putting it in your mouth and chewing it and then swallowing it. Once you swallow that food, guess what happens? The body takes over, and it's going to manage that which you've introduced as best as you can. And at the end, it's going to void some of it and absorb some of the other pieces in order for it to benefit the body. What if you had something that was the ultimate superfood and you could consume it at any time? And what it did, instead of giving you the nutrients that you needed for your body, it gave you the secret nourishment that you needed for your soul. And not only that, you shine that everywhere you go, and people feel it and receive it too, and they've just had the best spiritual meal of their life. Imagine if you could do that every single day. Now you can. Now you can. I've given it to you. There's no secret. There's no hidden trick here. You go back to the simplest meditation that's ever existed, which is all is one. We are all connected. This oneness comes from the origin of light, and the frequencies within are left to the domain of this operating system that we have no idea about. Why do we have no idea about it? Because it's existed for 14.5 billion years, and we've existed for about 200,000 years of that time. It's nothing in comparison. So we should not be so naive as to think we've got it figured out. Instead, we should simply be reverent for what has already existed and how much work it's already done to bring us about and give us the experiences that we're having right now. To be grateful for that. It starts by connecting with the source and saying, hey, I recognize that you're an OS. I recognize that I've got some broken code. The rest is up to you. And light says, great. You know what? I figured that out a couple billion years ago. Don't worry about it. I know you're a newbie here. I've got plenty of levels, plenty of experience. Not to worry. Just offer light and let it go. So you get yourself a mala. And I've got special ones that have been blessed at the Basilica of Guadalupe, and I talked about this last night. They're made of tulsi. They protect your body. They give you spiritual protection. They're sacred. They come from India, and they've been blessed at one of the highest energetic cities in the world, in Mexico City, right where Juan Diego watched all of these miracles happen through the Lady of Guadalupe. And I have those for you, so you can get yourself a quick jump start into this practice. Or you go pick up your own. All I want you to do is to try this once. And if you can try it with a couple, with another person, even better. If you can do it with a group, even better. You won't believe the feeling it brings you. Because I didn't. I was just grateful. Grateful like when a song comes to me and I think, where the heck does this come from? My muse was light. For this system, my muse was light and still is. I am faithful to it. And so, I'm going to sign off with that. Remember the simplest meditation. This is just a talk. And when it comes to the time of showing you the techniques, I'm going to be revealing this too. Because I want you to just get this in pieces. Now you can go out there and try this on your own. You can see how it feels. You can experiment for yourself, and you can know you're doing something that will benefit you. It will make you judge people less. It'll make you understand that you are deserving of love and success and goodness in your life, and that it's ready to manifest now. Regardless of moon cycles, regardless of your planetary energies, I say that with partial jest because there are elements to it that should be tapped into. But if I want somebody to just come in and say, listen, man, I don't believe in anything that you're talking about. I want this to work, though. I'm going to do the practice. I'm going to say, great, offer light, let it go. And if you do that, you got it. You got it. You're going to get the results. It's like someone comes to me and says, listen, man, I want you to tell me at what point this week it's going to likely rain. Okay, great. But I know the forecast for every single day, every single hour, for every single relationship, for every single job, for every single individual, when it's going to rain for them, when they're going to have their harsh winters, when they're going to have their summers, when they're going to grow, when they're going to travel. Those ideal times come from universal Kabbalah and understanding numerology. That aspect is part of this meditation. It goes deep. But if you don't want to go deep, you don't have to. I offer you this, as simple as it is, because you deserve greatness in your life. Because you are just a reflection of me, and I'm just a reflection of you. And that's just everything, isn't it? I wish you the most beautiful evening. Thanks for tuning in. Give it a practice. Give it a shot. Leave a comment. Share this with people that you think it will help. Tell them to subscribe and support this channel so that we can reach more people. So there can be less judgment and more success in this world. And we can evolve fast. Let's make it happen. Have a great evening. Om Sai Ram.